If you're a Salesforce developer appearing for Salesforce interview, these questions can be really helpful to you. Now, if you want to conduct mock interviews or need any guidance on Salesforce, you can connect with me one-to-one over the TopMate link provided below. So let's get started. So the first question was that when do we face CPU time limit exceed error and how do we fix it? So let's say you have certain kind of code. Okay, you have certain level of code. Let's say for an example, code is something like this. Okay, the overall code is something like this, let's say. Okay, now if your overall code is taking more than 10 seconds, okay, in the case of asynchronous, okay, in case of unsynchronous, if it's taking, sorry, in case of synchronous, if it's taking more than 10 seconds to execute, okay, if your code is going to take more than 10 seconds to execute, you will face the CPU time limit exceed error. And in the case of asynchronous, if your code is taking more than 60 seconds to execute, that's where again you face the issue of CPU time limit exceed error. Now in case of synchronous, how do we fix it? We can fix it by optimizing the code. Okay, how to optimize the code? By using maps, by using sets, by using lists, by reducing the for loops. Like, we can reduce the for loops, reducing the queries, and basically let's say reducing the queries and basically reducing the size of the code, reducing the size of the code. Okay, simple. By using map sets list, basically optimizing the code. But let's say your code is the most optimized one, still you're facing the issue. Now what to do? In that case, you can move your code to asynchronous. So basically what you can do is you can put your code inside a queueable apex, or you can put the code inside the future method, so that you will get the limit of asynchronous immediately. Now if your code is taking 11 seconds, let's say, but as you have put your code inside asynchronous, now you have 60-second limits and you can fix this issue. Now let's say if you're facing the same issue in asynchronous as well, the only thing that is left is optimizing the code. There is no such things as that. After this, if you have like after asynchronous, you cannot do much. All you have to do is optimize the code in case of asynchronous. But if in synchronous, you can either move the code to asynchronous process or you can optimize the code. Let's move on to the next question, that can we perform function overloading in aura enabled method? So let's say I have an aura enabled method. So these are two aura enable method. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, overloading means what? Overloading means either increasing the number of the parameter or decreasing the number of parameter, or not having no parameter at all. So for an example, I have this method, right? Or else I'll keep this method as it is. I'm going to copy paste the same method. Okay, so if I show you instead, I will just paste it below that. Okay, both the methods are same. Account list, return type is also same, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the parameter. Okay, one is going to have the parameter, another is not going to have the parameter. So this is what we call basically the function overloading. Is it allowed inside the aura enabled method or not? Let's see. So as you can see, method already defined from the type controller. So overload of aura enabled method is not permitted. So you cannot overload the aura enabled method, basically because they are static. But in simple terms, you cannot overload the aura enabled method. So the answer to this question is no, we cannot perform function overloading in aura enabled method. Let's move on to the next question. I have user 1 and user 2, where user 1 has manually shared the record with user 2, and now user 2 is deactivated and reactivated again after a few days. Will he have access to the manually shared records? Now here, let's consider user 1 as Salesforce in 5 minutes user, which is logged in inside the Chrome, right? And user 2, let's consider it as Raju Srivastav. Okay, he is logged in Edge. Now, what I'm going to do is the OWD of opportunity is private. Okay, OWD of opportunity is private. So Salesforce in 5 minutes user will only be able to see his own record. So if I go to the opportunity right now, this is the opportunity. It is owned by Salesforce in 5 minutes user. Now, basically, if Raju Srivastav tries to access the same opportunity in his context, oh sorry, he won't be able to, basically because the OWD is private, right? Oh, let's see. Okay, he's not able to. Okay, now let's see, we will manually share the record with Raju Srivastav. Okay, I'm going to give only read only access Raju Srivastav. I gave the access. Now suddenly, as I've shared the record, Raju Srivastav will be able to see the record, right, as it is shared manually with him. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to deactivate the user of Raju Srivastav. So if you see, at least he's able to see the record. Now Raju Srivastav is able to see the record. Now inside the users, I'm going to just deactivate Raju Srivastav's user. So I'm going to deactivate the user right now. Okay, as I have deactivated, I no more have access to the login, right? Basically, if I try to log in, I won't be able to log in because the user is logged out, or deactivated completely. Now after few days, let's say after few seconds, I'm again going to reactivate him. Will he still have the access to the shared record? So the record, we shared it with him, right? Does he still have the access to this record? Let's see. If I am going to log in again as his user, and now I'm going to copy the URL, and let's see whether he has access to this opportunity or not. Okay, he does have access. Even though he has been deactivated and reactivated again, still he holds the access to the opportunity. So this was all about the interview questions I've discussed in the previous shot. If you found this video helpful, I request you to please like this video and subscribe to my channel.